9:07 on this Friday. Good morning, folks. This is John DePetro, off and running. Phone lines officially now open for the day, 438-9776. Our program brought to you by Paul Massey. Get great deals. Chevrolet, Buick, GMC trucks, all Paul Massey locations. Service your car no matter where you bought it with a certified service oil filter change special, just $19.95, and always online at paulmassey.com. I want to welcome back to the program. We've met him before. He is running for Senate against Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, is Republican Barry Hinckley. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, John. Good morning, Rhode Island.
How is the Hinckley campaign?
The Hinckley campaign is exciting, building, and going very well.
What is your reaction? Why do you think Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, in the latest Brown University poll just came out yesterday, is his approval rating is only at 33%?
The question I hear over and over from people as I've been campaigning for the last 10 months out around Rhode Island is, what has he done for us? I mean, no one can come up with anything he's done.
Nothing?
Zip. What? I mean, he came up with that idea to lower the volume on television sets, which I thought was a great idea, because when half your state is home unemployed,
yes,
why bother them?
How does your campaign see this? I mean, there's no way, number one, he can feel comfortable at 33%. That is a pretty good indication that this should be a very viable race.
Well, if you think about what his message has been consistently for the last 5 years, more government is the answer. And people don't believe it anymore. People know deep down that the way out of this mess is more jobs. I'm a job creator. We've been pounding away at that message for 10 months now. People get it. The only way forward is if we regrow the private sector and have more jobs for people to choose from or to get in the first place. And his answer over and over again is, we need more taxes, we need more government. And people don't believe it anymore.
Do you see him or run into his campaign at any events?
I've run into him several times, yeah.
Has there been communication between the two camps, and are they open, although it's early, but are they open to debates?
No communication. They're playing the old-fashioned ignore me.
They are.
The only time Sheldon talks to me is if he actually bumps into me and has to. They're playing the old school ignore him and hopefully he'll go away plan.
Now, the election is next November, so if they really want to stay in that mode, there probably wouldn't be any debates until after September, unless if you really start to make some movement, get things going, and then force them to come out of the shell a little bit.
Well, we've been challenging debates wherever we go. Whenever someone asks me, I would love to debate Sheldon on the issues, because the issues speak to us. We're aligned with the facts. The facts are everything he has touched since he got in office has gotten worse. Every viable metric about the health of Rhode Island is worse than it was when he got in. And quite frankly, he's part of a spending program that, my bumper sticker says, are you better off now than you were $8 trillion ago? They spent trillions of dollars, worse results, and he doesn't want to have to defend that. I hope he will step up and debate me on those issues, but no luck so far.
Did you get a chance to see the final Iowa debate last night?
I saw parts of it. I had a fundraiser last night in East Greenwich, so I didn't get home until around 9-something, so I caught the tail end of it.
Are you openly supporting someone
No, I'm not.
in that race?
I'm not.
What stood out to you? Who do you like of the field?
Well, there's no question that Newt wins the debate competition over and over again. He's a professional debater and very, very good at it. His body of experience around debating and around Washington, D.C. is strong. And, there's this morbid curiosity around Newt, what he's going to say next, that keeps you engaged. It's the old story. If you want to keep your bank safe, you hire a bank robber to lay down the protection plan. I mean, Newt has a little bit of that flair, because everyone sees right now Congress as, a quasi-criminal enterprise that I talk to. I mean, what's their approval rating? Like 26%?
Very low.
74% of Americans want to change out their senator or the congressman, and their approval rating's 9% of Congress overall. So, Newt has that, feel of like he knows where all the bodies are, so to speak, and he's so good talking about that body of evidence that he debates very well. Everyone knows Romney has the skills from a business point of view to,
Who do you like? Who do you like of the crowd? Would you support Newt Gingrich?
I would support whoever the nominee is.
Okay.
But the closer they are to the world of business experience, I like more, because we need balance in Washington, D.C. on behalf of our representation. We have too many people that are career politicians. There's a great graph out there that I'll actually email you after the show that you can talk about.
And I want to hear about that, but I'm curious to hear your impressions of them. For instance, so you're not a Romney supporter? I would think you're a Romney supporter.
I like Mitt. I know Mitt. What I've been discouraged about with Mitt is lack of a real leadership stance. I think right now, I know. I've been out campaigning for 10 months. People want a strong leader.
He was governor of Massachusetts, but ran Bain Capital. He took over and ran the Winter Olympics in 2002.
Yeah, all great stuff.
You don't think Mitt Romney's a good leader?
He hasn't come out with a plan that's been really decisive around the key issues that we need reformed, like tax, for example. I don't really like he didn't come out with a strong, we need to gut this 80,000 page or 70,000 page, whatever size this tax code is. We need to gut it and start over. That's what people are looking for.
Would you support Michelle Bachmann?
No.
Okay. Would you support Rick Perry?
No.
Would you support Rick Santorum?
No.
No. All right. So
it's kind of, for me, it's Newt Romney. John Huntsman's great. I really like John Huntsman a lot. I don't get why he doesn't have more of a following. He's a smart guy with a lot of relevant experience, and he did a great job in Utah. I mean, his state's #1 in every viable metric. So he's got a great track record, which I'm surprised he's not higher up. Those are the three. I mean, Romney, Newt, and Huntsman I like.
Folks, Republican Barry Hinckley is in studio. What do you make of the fact that Congressman Cicilline and his people were trying to remake the 1st District to essentially shed themselves of Republican districts, Smithfield, Burrillville, North Smithfield, and try to just grab more of Democrat Providence?
It was shameful. The whole thing was shameful. I mean, I travel out of state about a week a month doing fundraisers around the country, spreading the word that we need help here in Rhode Island.
Is it tough to raise money?
It's tough in Rhode Island because the economics are so bad, right? And when you're raising money in a state that's in the bottom of every economic category, it makes it tougher for people to give you donations because everyone's hurting. He has around $2.2 million.
And how much do you have?
Right now in the bank, we'll have raised around $400,000 at the end of this quarter.
And how much have you spent, or will you spend out of your own money?
I've put in $50,000 right now. I've made this a challenge for myself. I consider a viable campaign one that you don't have to self-fund. If the people will invest in me and my message, then they're also likely to vote for me. If you look at what Linda McMahon did in Connecticut, she spent like $50 million of her own bucks running for Senate down there, and people didn't vote for her. So if I can raise the money to fund this election, then that means people like my message and they'll vote for me. So I don't plan on putting any more in. We'll self-fund this through
You mentioned you had a fundraiser last night.
Yeah.
What do people ask you when they're meeting you for the first time at a fundraiser? What do they want to know?
They want to know what
you haven't held elective office.
Yeah, I was not born with a political spoon in my mouth.
All right. This is the first time you've ever gone for higher office.
Right.
So it's fair to say people are meeting you for the first time, hearing you for the first time.
Yeah.
You need, obviously name recognition needs to be built. I'm curious as to what do they ask you?
They ask me what is going to be my approach to get people to vote for me. And I tell them I'm a job creator. I've created hundreds of jobs. I've made hundreds of payrolls. I have walked the walk. I have managed the team, so to speak. Let's use baseball as a metaphor. If you want someone to coach a winning team, you really hope that manager or that coach has played the game, right? We have a lot of people in Washington, D.C., like Sheldon Whitehouse, that have made business. So it's no wonder that our economy is in shambles. So they want to know, what is your message? And I tell them it's going to be a very, very clear message that I'm going to have out there to people. If you believe that resurrecting the private sector and creating more jobs is the way out of the mess we're in, then I'm your guy, because that's the life I've led. If you think that more government and more taxes is the way out of the mess, then you have a candidate. It's Sheldon Whitehouse. He's not the Democratic candidate anymore. He is the government sector candidate. He doesn't represent the old values of the Democratic Party. He represents everything that is government. And people get that clear distinction, whether it's someone that's working at a factory or whether it's someone that's running the factory.
What else should people know about someone that's running for the Senate? How much should people know about? Do you release tax forms? Do people find out how much you're worth? And
well,
I don't know the answer to
they
any
do
of these
know
questions.
that, right? Because you have to do disclosure. So I've already disclosed all of that, and that I think that's fine and fair.
Because you're retired. You're not working now. Or
well, I've retired to run for office.
Okay.
I actually retired from my software company. And I have a certain amount of cash savings that I'm spending, and I've timed it so I run out of money right around the time that the election is next year.
That'd be good timing.
And then I have a large chunk for a company which I no longer work at day to day, that when that sells someday, and I've said this over and over again.
And where is that?
It's that company's based in Boston.
In Boston, okay.
And so when that company sells, if it ever does, I will have a chunk of money that I could probably pay off my mortgage, have a little breathing room for retirement, and pay for my kids to go to college. I'm not Sheldon Whitehouse inherited $15 million or there around. If you look at his disclosures, he's inherited a massive amount of money. He's a very wealthy man. He is the 1% of the 1%, if you will. So back to your question, which I thought was a great one, is how much people should know. I guess whatever they're interested in, I would be happy to disclose my tax return. I can tell you on my federal tax return, it's all out there. But what I am concerned about when you see this in the presidential and other stuff is what people focus on when they're hiring someone.